Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me today on our Lunch and Learn for Leaders and those who want to be. My name is Jill Valdez. I'm thrilled to be here to talk with you about the power of visionary leadership, crafting and communicating a compelling vision. Now, this presentation, it's going to be thorough, it's going to be detailed, and I'm going to make sure that we cover all the essential aspects. So, what is visionary leadership? Visionary leadership is the ability to create a clear and compelling picture of the future and to inspire others to follow you there. It involves strategic thinking, creativity, and the ability to see possibilities that others might not. Now, this type of leadership is essential for driving long-term success and innovation. So what's the importance of a compelling vision? Well, a compelling vision, it serves as a guiding star for your organization. It provides direction, motivates and inspires people, and it aligns everyone's efforts towards a common goal. Irene, I'm so glad that you could join us today. Thanks for being here. Tell me about your experience of when you've been with a company that's just had a really great vision. Or maybe you haven't.
Well, no, I have. I mean, at one time, yeah, several years ago, I worked for a company for almost 15 years, and here in Tualatin, and they had a great vision. I mean, customer service. I mean, to a person in the store. It was a grocery store chain, but to a person. I mean, friendly interaction. That particular chain has actually been open almost 100 years now.
Wow.
So yeah. So yeah, it's just across the board. I mean, in the pharmacy, with the upper management, within the store, interactions with our customers, it was amazing. So
yeah, that sounds amazing. I love talking about vision. It's so important for a company to have a good vision. There's a workshop that I do sometimes with businesses, and it's like a 2-day conference. And one of the pieces is to help them walk away with a vision. And there's this video that I show, and it's the story of Bear Bryant, who he came on as a coach. And when he first came to coach this NFL team, I can't remember it right now. I want to say it's the Bears.
I think it was the Bears, yeah.
So when he came on, nobody wanted him. Like, that's part of the video, is like nobody wanted him. He was known as this rough and tumble kind of guy. He didn't have a whole lot of, soft skills. And they're like, we don't want him. Oh my gosh, he's horrible. And so he gathered his team together and he says, look, I have a vision. If you guys stick with me, 3 years from now, we're going to be at the dance, meaning we're going to be at the Super Bowl. He said, not all of you are going to make it with me. But if you stick to my plan, we're going to be there. And he had that vision, and he cast that vision. He shared that with the team. And he said, if you want to be with me, great. Not everybody's going to be able to make it. But sure enough, 3 years later, they were at the Super Bowl, and it was one of the most dominating wins on record of Super Bowl history. And so that's the power of a vision. A vision, it drives people. It helps people get up and get out of bed in the morning and say, I want to go and I want to be a part of this.
Come back in, and then I got a different.
Uh-oh, Angie, you unmuted.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. It's great to have you today.
Thank you. I'll mute now.
So let's talk about some of the key benefits of a good vision. First of all, like I said, direction. It helps you navigate through challenges and stay focused on the big picture. We tell this story. My husband tells this story when he's talking about vision sometimes. And he tells the story of when our son was 2 years old. And look, back in those days, we were stinking dirt poor. we were living on beans and rice and Jesus Christ. And that's how we got through every day. And we had this old 1980 Honda Accord, and the brakes needed to be changed, and we didn't have the money to pay somebody to do it. And fortunately, my husband is very handy. And so he jacks the car up, gets the tire off, gets everything, and he's getting the brakes replaced, and he realizes he's missing one piece. It's this little cotter pin. It looks like a bobby pin. I'm like, oh, I got a bobby pin. He's like, no, that doesn't work. I'm like, oh, okay. And so they had to walk to the auto parts store because we only had the one car. And so he had to walk to go get this part. And my son, who was 2 years old at the time, he's like, I want to go with you, Dad. And so they go trotting off, and it's, probably a mile, which isn't a big deal, but for a 2-year-old, it was a big deal. So they go off and they're coming back, and my son is saying, Dad, I'm so tired. I don't think I can make it. I'm so tired. And my husband says, look at where we are. And he points him down the street, and he says, look, there's the house. Do we need to stay? Do we need to stop? Do you need to rest? He goes, no, Dad, I see the house. I see it. I can make it. And that's the power of vision. When we can see where we're going, we can overcome challenges. It energizes, it motivates, it engages your team, this vision. It gives them a sense of purpose. The other great thing is that it speaks to alignment. It ensures that all the efforts are coordinated and everybody's moving in the same direction. And it really simplifies decision-making by providing a clear framework for evaluating options. When you're coming up to make a decision, if it doesn't align with the vision of the company, then it's pretty easy to say no. So let's break down the elements of a great vision statement. A powerful vision is, first of all, it is big. It should be ambitious, and it should inspire people to strive for something greater. If you have a vision and it's going to be pretty easy to accomplish, that's not inspiring. That makes people kind of sit back and go, oh, I can coast into making that happen. But if you have a big vision, then all of a sudden they're like, oh, wow, that would be so cool if we were able to accomplish that. So make sure that your vision is big, and make sure that it's clear. It should be very easy to understand and easy to remember. Back in the day when vision statements were becoming a thing and everybody was writing their vision statement and their mission statement, some of them were like 3 and 4 sentences. Some of them were multi-paragraphs. And it's like, who in the heck is going to remember that? Making sure that it's easy enough to understand and also to remember. And it should highlight on the difference that you want to make. When you think about your vision for your company or even for your life, when people engage in that, how is their life going to look different? Whether that's as an employee, whether that is as a customer, what is it that's going to make me different by interacting with your company? So focus on the impact, talk about that. And then it should paint a mental picture of the desired future. If I'm reading a vision statement, one of my favorite vision statements to actually use as an example is Walt Disney. I put it on my LinkedIn post yesterday and had his vision for Disneyland. I mean, he had it all spelled out. And when you read through it, you're like, oh my gosh, that is Disneyland. And yet he wrote that vision statement before he had ever broke ground. And yet it painted this incredible visual picture. People were able to put into their mind a picture of what Disneyland was going to be. And again, make sure that it's memorable. It should be concise, and it should stick in people's minds. There's no point in having a vision statement if nobody's going to remember it. So let's talk about how to craft your vision. Now, this process involves several steps, and I'm going to tell you, don't do it alone. Bring your team on to be a part. They're going to have things, they're going to see things, they're going to have perspective, they're going to add to this in ways that maybe you never even dreamed of. So the first thing is, though, reflection. think about your core values. Think about your purpose and what success looks like for your company. Ask yourself, what do we stand for? Why do we exist? What do we want to achieve? And then get into brainstorming. Again, involve your team in these brainstorming sessions because you're going to get some diverse perspectives. Encourage open and creative thinking. Like, if there were no obstacles, some questions to ask is, if we knew we wouldn't fail, what would we do? If money wasn't an issue, what would we do? You know, some of those really big and bold questions can get that brainstorming going and just come up with some amazing ideas. You might want to think about using some techniques like mind mapping to explore some different possibilities. I've seen where companies, they'll get sticky notes and everybody will be writing down ideas and they just put them all up on a blank wall and kind of start moving things around that way. I know when I was starting Link Consulting, that's exactly what I did. I was like, I got it. Oh my gosh, that dog is adorable. Oh, so adorable. Sorry, squirrel. Oh my goodness, adorable. My puppy's upstairs. He'd love to be a part of this meeting as well. Oh, so cute. Okay, so anyway, reining it back in. Mind mapping to explore different possibilities, and then write a draft. Write a draft of your vision statement. Don't worry about getting it perfect on the first try. Don't worry about getting it perfect on the second or third try. Just focus on capturing the essence of what you want to convey. And then you refine your vision statement. You put it out there. Obviously you don't want to put it on your website and be like, hey, look at my new vision statement. But if you have some trusted people that you know will give you honest feedback, ask them to read it, ask them to look at it, and then ask them the question, do you think that this is big enough? Does it paint a mental picture? Is it easy to remember? You know, ask them how that aligns with what a good vision statement should be, and then take their feedback and make those adjustments. Make adjustments as needed to make sure that it resonates with everyone, but please don't get stuck on having to make sure that you include everybody's suggestion, because everybody's going to have an opinion, everybody's going to have a thought, and at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to please everybody, but you can incorporate their ideas, but recognize that it doesn't have to be everybody's idea. And then finalize your vision, make sure it resonates with everyone in your organization, and ensure it's clear, it's compelling, and that it's aligned with your strategic goals. So let's talk about some example vision statements. So here are some examples of powerful vision statements from well-known organizations. For instance, Tesla. Tesla's vision statement is to accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. Now, when you think about that vision statement, is that a big vision statement or is it ho-hum? That's a big vision statement, right?
Right on track.
Yeah. And it paints a clear picture of what they want to be doing. And it's clear and it's rememberable. Here's Microsoft. To help people and businesses throughout the world realize their full potential. What do you think of their vision statement?
Definitely covers their territory. So yeah. If you
Yeah.
would. People worldwide. So yeah.
Yeah. It's a little vague on how they're going to do that, what that means for them. But overall, I mean, it's definitely big and ambitious and in alignment with what they want to be. And then Nike, to bring inspiration and innovation to every athlete in the world. So these are examples of some concise and clear. They're concise, they're clear, and they convey a strong sense of purpose and direction. When you read these, you know what they're about. And it's easy if I'm a customer or an employee to say, that's something that I want to be a part of. Okay, so you've got your vision statement crafted. Now what? Because that's just the first step. Communicating it effectively is crucial to ensure that everyone's on the same page. So here's how to do it. First of all, be consistent. Reinforce the vision in all of your communication. Use it as a touchstone in meetings and emails and presentations. And just about the time that you get sick of talking about this vision statement, just about the time that you get sick about saying it, that's about the time that your followers are actually going to get it. Studies show that people get things a lot slower than we give them credit for. And so we have to repeat it, that consistent messaging over and over and over again. And the more that they hear it, for one, the more that they'll go, oh, this wasn't just a passing fad. Oh, this wasn't just, some exercise that we did to say that we did something. This is something that we're really going to be. This is something that we're really striving for. And when you get consistent with your messaging as the leader, then that helps your team and people around you be consistent with the messaging as well. And then stories. Use stories to illustrate your vision and make it more relatable. Share anecdotes that highlight the impact and the importance of your vision. When I was the executive director of a food distribution organization, we provided groceries for on average, 350 families per week. And every week we would meet beforehand. We would distribute the groceries from 12 to 6 on Tuesdays. And we would meet as the team of volunteers, and we would gather and we'd talk about, some of the logistics of what might be happening for the day and some things to, highlight, that kind of stuff. But I would always tell stories about how the vision of what we were doing, of our organization, was being lived out. I'd have stories that I could see from something the volunteers did or something one of the clients did. Those stories, that actually helped people mentally get a picture of what living out this vision looks like. And so stories are so, so powerful. Make sure that you tell stories. Use visuals. Use visuals to help people envision the future, charts, diagrams, images, whatever. But use those because it can help make your vision even more tangible. And then engage your team in discussion about the vision to make sure that they understand it and make sure that they buy in. Again, when we talked about being consistent with the messaging and saying it over and over and over again, make sure though that they understand what it is that you're saying. Make sure that they have that buy-in. Encourage questions and provide really clear answers. Have you ever been, excuse me, have you ever been at a company town hall meeting and a question is asked and the person who responds, they kind of dance around the question and they're like patting themselves on the back like, whoa, I just gave such a great answer, but they didn't actually answer the question? Don't be that kind of leader, especially when it comes to vision, because if you don't have people buying into your vision, your company and the organization, it's going to fracture. People are going to walk away from that and just keep doing their own thing and not pay attention to the actual vision of the company. And then demonstrate commitment to the vision through your actions. Show that you are fully invested in achieving it. What about you? What are some things that you have found have helped you successfully communicate vision? Or which one of these things resonates with you?
Well, definitely examples set by, strong leaders. And, just going back to that company I work for, they were, it was a small company. I mean, if you look at comparative size, but they were dedicated to, connecting with the community, connecting with their customers, connecting with their employees. And so, just to emulate, what they did, when I was communicating with my pharmacy staff, just like I had a great framework to go off of. So, and that helped a lot. So
good. that idea of cascading leadership.
Mhm.
That's so great.
So I have definitely had the example of the leader that I do not want to be, that dances around their statements and is never clear. And I think that over the last couple of years, our workforce has just changed. So trying to get everything back in alignment with our goals is been a little bit of a struggle. So I think these are good ideas that we can kind of revitalize our programming and get everybody excited again.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for sharing that. So let's talk about how to engage your team, because engaging your team is key to making the vision a reality. Again, we want to take the words on the wall and get them off the wall and actually make them become the reality that you're working towards. So here's some strategies for you. First of all, involve them in the process. Include your team, like I said earlier, include them in crafting and refining the vision, because that's going to foster ownership and commitment. And then provide regular updates on progress. How are we doing in working towards this vision? Keep everyone informed and motivated. When they know where you're at, when they know the progress that is being made or the roadblocks that are keeping progress from being made, they will wrap their arms around that. They will feel a better sense of ownership because they're in the know. And who knows, they might have some sort of a suggestion or an idea of something that can be done to even accelerate accomplishing that vision. Recognition, recognize and celebrate the milestones and contributions. My husband's nephew, he lived with us, and he frankly came to live with us because he was very low functioning Down syndrome. And he came to live with us because he needed to lose weight. He was about 5'1" and he weighed 280 pounds. And so we joked that he was going to come to Camp Valdez. And so he came to Camp Valdez, and over the year and a half that he was originally with us, he lost 125 pounds. And what we did for him is, again, because he was low functioning, we had a chart on his wall. He shared a room with our son, and he had a chart. And for every pound that he lost, he would go in and he would exit off. So he could visually see the progress that he was making. And he was super excited. He loved to tell everybody about how he lost an X. He got to put another X. But also along the way, we set up rewards. We set up, like, if you lose 30 pounds, we're going to go miniature golfing, because he loved miniature golfing. When you lose 50 pounds, we're going to go bowling. I can't remember what we said for 75 pounds, but we said, Kirk, if you lose 100 pounds, we'll take you to Disneyland, because he had not been able to go to Disneyland in a long time just because of the weight. He couldn't walk. It was difficult for him. And so we set up these wins and these rewards along the way. And it was so exciting for him because we put like a little sticker, and so he would know what he was working towards. And we would keep reminding him of that. And we were so proud of him. He did so good. But when we never thought we were going to go to Disneyland, but he did it. He lost 125 pounds. We went to Disneyland. It was fantastic. We had such a great time. We lived in this little small town in Central California. So like the local paper, because everybody knew Kirky. And so the local paper did this huge write-up on him and everything. And so, but it's good to celebrate when you're making milestones. Make sure that you have some rewards built up along the way. Have a grand reward for when you actually accomplish the full vision, but set yourself up for rewards along the way. And then establish feedback loops. Make sure that you're constantly getting input, making necessary adjustments. It doesn't mean that you have to change the vision statement all the time, but it is important to make sure that you're measuring, do we still have buy-in? Is everybody still clear on what we're doing? Is this still the right vision? Do we need to make some minor adjustments? And so it's really important to make sure that you have a system set up in place to where people are able to still speak to the vision statement. So sometimes there's going to be pushback. And every leader faces challenges when trying to implement a vision. Some of the most common ones are like resistance to change, because people are often very comfortable with status quo. But you can overcome this by clearly explaining the benefits of the vision and addressing the concerns. Sometimes there's a lack of alignment. Make sure, again, that everybody understands their role in achieving the vision, and then use clear communication and regular check-ins to maintain that alignment. And then maintaining momentum. It can be hard. I'm working with a client right now, and we're working on making some pretty dramatic changes. And at first, it seems like things are going super slow and that we're not going to be making progress. But by the time we get going, as we keep going, it's going to get faster and faster and faster. So keep the vision front and center. Use regular updates, celebrations, and ongoing engagement to make sure that you're sustaining that enthusiasm, because that's going to fuel momentum. So take a few minutes to reflect on your own organization's vision and write down what you think your vision should be. And this is a great exercise for you to do over the next few days. And if you want to send it to me, I would love to read through what your vision statement is, and kind of give you some feedback, and we can start that process together. But think about the key elements when it comes to a vision statement. It's big, it's clear, it's focused on impact, it's visual, and it's memorable. So I hope this session has given you some really valuable insights into crafting and communicating a compelling vision. Any questions, any thoughts about any of this as we're drawing to an end?
How many times do you ever see a company change their vision as they grow?
Companies should be doing that. You know, the life cycle of a business is that every 3 to 4 years, you should be looking at where you're at and where you're going. And so again, you're not changing what you're about, but to refine the vision statement, because the vision statement, again, it's a destination. And so if you've gotten there, then what? You need to craft a new vision statement to accomplish and achieve newer things. That's a great question. Any other questions? All right. Well, if you think of one, you can always email me or send me a text, whatever. So let's wrap up. Remember that visionary leadership is about seeing the future and crafting this clear and inspiring vision and communicating it effectively to align and motivate your team. I invite you to schedule a call with me so we can work together to ensure that your vision is not just a statement, but actually a reality that you're building every day. I'm so glad that you joined me on today's Lunch and Learn for Leaders and those who want to be. We meet every Thursday at noon Pacific on Zoom here. If you want to connect with me, you can find me on LinkedIn, or you can go to linkconsulting.info. If you go to the website, you can learn a little bit more about the services that I have and how I can support you and your business in creating a dream team and going from stunted to thriving. Also, you will have the opportunity to download my free ebook called Confident Leadership: How to Be a Confident Leader of a Committed Team Providing Stellar Service. And again, I'm so glad that you joined us. If ever you miss a Thursday, I do record these and put them up on YouTube. So make sure that you subscribe to that channel and you will never miss an update again. Take care, everybody. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.